supporting you in your dog parenting journey. The Dynamic Dog Owner with Debbie Potter. Hello and welcome to The Dynamic Dog Owner. I hope you are all looking forward to a wonderful 2024. For those of you who listen each week as these episodes go live, it is the first episode of 2024, which is very exciting. Super exciting to start the new year with lots of positivity. So today, seeing as it's a new year thing, everyone sets a goal. Everyone has a little time to reflect on the previous year, make New Year's resolutions. I mean, how many of you actually keep your New Year's resolution? Because I know I find them a bit tricky. I have very good intentions. And often I think you feel you have to make a New Year's resolution. You have to just come up with something because people will say to you, what's your New Year's resolution? And you have to say something. So we're going to talk about how we can set goals within our dog training, a dog parenting journey, and how we can try and ensure we actually achieve them. So yeah, it may be relevant to everybody. Some people may go, do you know what? I'm absolutely happy and there are no things I want to work on at all, which is absolutely brilliant. But for those of you who do have some training goals or some life goals with your dog, hopefully what we talk about today is going to help you. So first of all, why set a goal? I think goals help us to stay focused. It's really easy to sort of have these ideas or have an idealistic image of what you want life to look like. And this isn't just necessarily related to dogs. This is relating to every element of life. So it could be your fitness, your financial situation, your job, your career, anything, any aspect of your life where you feel you need to set some goals and almost hold yourself accountable. A lot of people like to be held accountable. I know I do. I have my own lists of things that I want to achieve and how I'm going to get there. And that's kind of what we're going to look at today. Your goal with your dog could be anything. It could be absolutely anything. It could be a training goal. It could be a point that you want to get to with them. It helps, first of all, to have a tangible goal. So a goal we can actually achieve. So saying something loose like, I just want my dog to walk better on the lead. How do we know if we've ever got there? Because what you think is better now, in 6 months' time, you may have sort of changed your expectations and go, well, it's not better. Because it's kind of wishy-washy. And I think that's the thing with goals. Time goes by so quickly. I'm sure it does for everybody else as much as it does for me. You blink and a day's gone by, and then all of a sudden a week's gone by, and then a month's gone by, and all of a sudden it's Christmas and New Year again. And you go, where did that year go? What did I actually achieve? Because we do live in the moment. We do get caught up with what we're actually doing right now. And sometimes it's really hard to remember where you were a year ago and the journey you've been on. And equally, it's hard to imagine what your journey and what your position will be like in a year's time. So first of all, we need to create a goal that is tangible. We can actually have something. So it could be something like, I would like to be able to walk my dog 100 yards down the road and them not pull me. It's measurable because we've got 100 yards. It could be that I would like them to sleep through the night. Again, we know when it's happened or not. It could be anything. It could just be, I want to, if you're doing some sports like agility or hoopers or scent detection, it could be, I want to achieve my next grade. I want to reach this milestone in our journey and get a tick and a rosette or win a competition. So it could be a normal day-to-day life challenge that you'd like to overcome. Equally, it could be a big sort of more competition-based goal. The first thing to do is actually write it down. Write down your goal, because if you don't write it down now, you're going to struggle to remember what it is in 12 months' time. So write down your goal. You don't just have to have one goal, you could have 2 or 3. So for example, it could be, this year, in the next 12 months, I would like to improve my lead work. I would like to be able to let them off lead. I'd like to try a new sport with them. I'd like to reach my grade 4, whatever it might be. You can have more than one. I would say let's not have too many. If we write down 20, it's very hard for you to reach all of those goals. They have to be achievable. Think about where you're at now and what would be an achievable goal. So they have to be achievable of what can be achieved in 12 months' time. You can't put down massive goals are unrealistic because simply you're setting yourself up to fail. So think of your goals, write them down. It may be that you put them in a pad of paper, like if you've got your pretty notebooks, you can pop it down in your notebook. You could make an Excel spreadsheet, you could put it on the notes on your phone, somewhere where you're going to keep hold of it, not lose it, and equally can add bits to it. So I personally like an Excel spreadsheet, and most people prefer a pretty journal, but I like a spreadsheet because I can create tabs. I can change the colour of things when I've achieved them, or when I'm working towards them, they go to one colour. When I've nearly done it, they highlighted a different colour, and when they're done, they get turned to another colour. So I can see just by looking at my spreadsheet how many things are the done colour and how many goals are still being worked towards, how many we haven't started yet. So that's what I like, but you can pick anything you like. So write down your goal. You don't have to tell anyone, it can just be personal. Equally, having a buddy can be really, really useful, because if you say it out loud and somebody else knows your goal, you almost feel like you've got to sort of show them you've done it. It's why coaches and life coaches, etc., come into their own. Even a friend, it could be a dog walking buddy, it could be your dog trainer, anybody, if you want to share it with somebody, find someone who won't drag you down but will support you and help you, and see if they can just go, okay, every month I'm going to ask you, how are you getting on? Where are we at? Because a buddy is really, really, really useful. So what we then need to do is find out how we can measure our goals. So how can we tell if we're making success? How can we tell if we're making steps on our journey towards the goal? And how can we tell if we're not making any progress? So again, you can do this in many ways. Some people will like to make their 12-month goal break down by months. So in the month one, say for example, we're talking lead work, our goal is to go on a walk without any pulling. Month one, I would like to be able to walk in, for me, I'd say my close. I'd like to be able to walk in and around my close without any pulling. Month two, I'd like to be able to walk 50 metres down the road with no pulling. Month three, I'm going to lose track of what months I'm on. Month three, I'd like to walk 100 yards. The next month, I'd like to walk around the block. I'd then like to walk near people. By the end of it, it could be, I'd like to walk round a farmer's market, or, something. Each month it gets a little bit harder. You increase your goals slightly, but you're starting with an achievable month one. Each month can progress at whatever rate you choose it to be. It doesn't have to be a massive rate of improvement. It can just be a small step. Then we need to see how we are going to measure it. So for example, you could set a reminder on your phone, first day of the month, what's the goal for the month? Take a video, write down where we're at now. How was the last month going? Where are we at? What are we going to do this month to actually achieve it? Because it's all very well setting a goal, like, most people, I want to lose 3 stone in the next year. How are you going to do it? How are you going to measure it? You can't just set that big goal, you need to break it down. So how are we going to measure it? How are we going to make sure we are making progress? So you could then say, I'd like to do this each day to reach my goal. So we've got our big goal, we've got our monthly goal. We then could say, well, how am I going to actually get to it? So what have I got to do every week or 5 times a week to get to achieve that goal for the month? So I'm going to dedicate 5 minutes every day to practicing my lead work. And I talk about lead work just because it's one of my favourite topics, and I think it's an important one, and I think it's quite easy to measure because you can measure the distance. 5 minutes, dedicate to training 5 minutes a day. And then you could say, I'm going to make sure I film my session on every Friday. So each Friday you can see what your progress is. So that way you're setting an achievable goal, 5 minutes a day. You can tick to say when you're doing it. You can almost have like a tick sheet on the fridge, Monday, Tuesday, through the week. I've done my training session on Monday, tick. Done it on a Tuesday, tick. Then you are looking at your tick. You've got a prompt, a visual prompt to say, have you done it? You can look at that and go, oh no, I haven't done it today. Anything about goals, it generally tends to require some habit setting. So setting new habits. And we know through dog training that dogs create good habits, but we can create good habits for ourselves too. And it's all about making a new habit to train or to do something a different way. So yes, we can say I'm going to do it on every Tuesday, I'm going to do this, on every day I'm going to do 5 minutes. But it's very easy, I'm sure you've all done it as well. You get to 8 o'clock in the evening, you just sat down, if you're like me, you've put on your comfy jammies and you go, oh, I haven't done that thing I should have done this morning. Oh, well, it's late now and I can't go and practice lead work now because it's dark. And, oh, well, I'll just skip today. And that's the first day we go, it's okay to skip it. And then the next day, oh, I didn't do it yesterday. Oh, I won't do it today either. Or you may kickstart yourself if you skip a day. But it's not just about this is what I'm going to do every day. What time are you going to do it at the day? Where are you going to do it? So really hold yourself accountable. So, for example, I'm going to practice dog training for 5 minutes immediately after my breakfast, so that it becomes part of your morning routine. Most of us don't even think about what order we do things in the morning, or we don't remember, we'd have to remember to brush our teeth or brush our hair. It's just part of your little routine you do every day. And you don't even think twice about doing it because you've done it for a very long time. You're almost on autopilot. And that's where we want our goals to come in. Our big goals get broken down into daily tasks and we make that part of our habit so that we are on autopilot and automatically do it. It could be the first 5 minutes of your walk, you practice your training. Whatever works for you, but find some way that you can build it into your daily routine and you can tick your sheet on the fridge and say, yes, I have done it. So that way you're breaking your goals down into small, achievable goals and you can sort of hold yourself accountable and tick them off. So that's one thing that's going to help you achieve your 2024 training goals with your dog. The next thing is to make a list of things that you're going to find hard. So your obstacles, what's going to stop you getting your goal and reaching it? Because it's all very well setting good boundaries, good sort of ideas, but we have to also be aware of what's going to hinder us. So for example, with lead work, what are my obstacles going to be? Well, it's January and it's dark. It's dark when I go to work. It's dark when I come home. I haven't got time at my lunch break because I'm in a rush. Yeah, so I'm probably not going to feel very motivated to do it. It may be, the weather's not a bit naff in January. I don't want to do it in the rain. So if we're aware of these obstacles or potential challenges where we might stumble, we again are going to be more aware of them and we can almost create a plan of, well, what will I do on those days? So again, I can do this as well. So I'm not perfect by any means. I will go, oh, it's raining, I can't be bothered. But I know how I can help myself to not avoid it, if that makes sense. So for example, if I need to walk the dog and my dog has to go out a lot because he doesn't win the garden and it's a right pain. I have to do it before I get comfortable. So as soon as I come in, rather than taking my shoes off, I'll go, come on, let's go. And I'll grab him and I'll take him out for a walk straight away so that I know if I sit down and get comfy, I'm then not going to want to go out and take him. And then I'm going to, oh God, he needs to go out for a wee. And I'm not going to feel motivated. Whereas when I walk in the door and I've still got my shoes on, I can pop, my stuff down when I come in and then go, come on, let's go straight for a walk. So I'm not giving myself the chance to feel unmotivated. I'm getting the job done and then coming back. So that may be something you do when you come in from work. Those quick, before you take your shoes off, grab the dog, practice for 5 minutes in the front of the back garden. It doesn't have to be a whole event. Equally, if it's the weather, pop on your Christmas money shopping list. If you got any money for Christmas, I'm going to buy myself a decent waterproof coat. Or you check the forecast and that day you go, right, I'm going to do it a different time of the week. I'm going to do it slightly earlier or slightly later because it's forecast to rain later. Just being aware of those obstacles will really help you. Equally, some things, we can create a battle plan for, but having a support network is possibly one of the most important things when it comes to goal setting. Because if we have got a team of people cheering us on, it's really going to help you. If you've got someone saying, hey, don't forget, you need to do that thing today, it's going to help you. So you may find that joining a dog training group or joining a community, a forum online, working with a trainer as a coach supportive rather than in-person training sessions, who's just there at the end of a phone to go, hey, how's your training gone today? So that someone's asking you about what you've done, is really gonna help you to just go, oh yeah, and someone to give you a kick up the bum when you need it, because we all need a kick up the bum sometimes. Motivation, especially in January, can be really tough. But if we are setting New Year goals, we need to start the year as we mean to go on, and make ourselves do it. Now, it does take a long time to create new habits. So the first month is going to be probably the hardest. Most people have probably broken their New Year's resolution by the end of January. So that first month is going to be really, really hard work. And that's the month you need to be really strict with yourself and go, I am doing this, I am practicing, I am training, no matter what. When you've established the habit, so probably after a good couple of months, if you miss a day, it's okay, because it's already a habit and the next day you're back on it. But in the first month, it's much easier for that quick break of practice to make a bigger effect. So the other thing is, say, an action plan. How am I going to achieve this? Write down your action plan. So my goal is big goal. Write down your action plan of how am I going to get there? So these are the things I need to do. And it may be, I'm going to buy a book on lead work. I'm going to book a group course on lead work. I am going to enlist a one-to-one trainer to support me and coach me every single day of the week through this journey. Obviously, that's something we could help you with. But having that action plan, making yourself a list of what you're going to do, which day, when you're going to do it, how you're going to do it, breaking it down into those small goals means that you're aware of what's going to happen. When I've achieved this goal, what's next? So if we plan for the whole year, and it may take you a day to sit down and do it, once you've achieved that first goal in that first month, you're not then going, well, what should I do in month 2? I don't know. And then you've got to take time to think about it. You know, when I've reached this goal, this is the next goal. So it's a bit like if you've ever worked with a life coach, they ask you to do sort of 1 year goal, 5 year goal, 10-year goal. So you've always got the next goal in mind. Along the way, they can change. Sometimes you look at it and go, why did I put that down? I don't want that anymore. Or that isn't my goal anymore, because life changes. But it gives you that, right, I've done that, what's next? And you've already kind of got inspiration to move on to your next goal. And that could be our month 1, month 2. Obviously, if you are doing amazingly well, you may reach your month 3 goal at the end of month 1, which would be incredible. You can then just keep making new goals when you get to the end of your goal for the year. And it may surprise you if you are consistent with your training efforts and you're holding yourself accountable. You may be surprised at how quick you could actually reach your goal. It's surprising when you put time and effort into a particular goal with your plans and your action plans and your accountability, how quickly you can actually make progress. The final thing is monitoring it. So you can wait until the end of the month and go, now I'll check in and see how I've got on. But checking it every day and just going, right, let me just write that down. You could, on your fridge, again, if you've got your daily list of what tick sheet, I've done it, you could also have a little list next to it saying, red, amber, green, how did today's session go? Did we achieve what we wanted to? Yes, no. And you can see the progress through that week. And then each week, you're monitoring how you're feeling, how much progress you're making. That way you can then adjust your expectations and your daily tasks to reach the big goal on a daily basis or a weekly basis. For me, I've said it before, videoing your training is one of the best ways to see your success and see your progress, especially with something like lead work. And I know I'm using this as an example, it really does apply to anything. But with things, the way you're working with your dog, it's really hard from the inside to see what progress you're making because you only see it from one perspective. So you could say, as part of your sort of action plan, every Saturday afternoon, I am going to spend 10 minutes just filming what I do with my dog or making a list of questions. How do I answer them? 1 out of 10. How am I feeling today? 10. How was our walk today? 2. How was my dog's reactivity on the lead? 10. You can then see from week to week how your answers change and how much progress you're making. You're monitoring things. If there's an area where you've only got 1 or 2 out of 10, you're going, that was rubbish. You go, next week I can work more on that. So you can tweak your daily action tasks according to how your progress is going. And it may be, that you don't make quick progress in the first month. The most important thing is you don't give up. And this isn't just about, New Year's and goals. This is about training in general. Don't give up. Make it easier. Focus on having fun. But goals will really help you and your dog to reach the bigger goals. A lot of small goals seem a little bit insignificant. So, for example, walking 5 meters down the road, seriously, is that actually going to help me have a decent walk? Yes, because it's that first step of the journey. It's that first goal. If they can't do 5 meters, they're not going to do 100. So those small goals that you make every single day are the beginnings and the small successes that boost your mood to then want to continue training. If you set your first month's goal as being absolutely unachievable, you are not going to enjoy your first month, and it's not going to help you to get success in the future months. So the first month or two, keep your goals so easy. It could just be, we're going to go and play some games on the lead for 5 minutes. Being on the lead's fun. We're having fun together. It's more about getting into the habit of dedicating time every day to doing something with your dog the first month or two, and then the goals can increase each month. So hopefully this is a little bit helpful to get you sort of on the track for 2024 and to reach your goals, whatever they may be. Don't forget, you can share our podcast with any friends who you think would benefit from it. You can also head over to our Facebook group, Potterpaws Dog Training Community, where our training team are on board every single day in the group. We're available to talk to people, and people can talk with others. You can share your own accountability with other group members, and we do have a small training challenge running this January for the first few days of January. So it's a 10-day challenge, 1st to the 10th, to help you have a few suggestions of things that you could try in your training sessions to get you enjoying training in the first month of your new 2024 goals. Have a great week, and I will catch up with you all next week. Thank you for listening to The Dynamic Dog Owner with me, Debbie Potter. See you next time.